Okay, so welcome back to another episode of Hot and Hustle. But today is a solo segment where we give every candidate they have a platform where they can speak, they can share their story, and they can also making sure people know why they the person that deserve to be in the chair. So right now we got a special guest in the building. Today we got Mr. Doug from Villa Rica, somebody that's super engaging with the community, especially on social media. That's how me and him end up got here. So welcome to the platform. Thank you for coming, and I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here. It was very fortuitous that we met, and maybe when we met,
Correct.
and how that all came together. And I couldn't be more excited about an opportunity to answer your questions and let the people of Villa Rica and wherever just know about me and some ideas I have about the city.
Gotcha. I mean, I'm sure you're an open book person. You're super transparent when you're online, and you're somebody who's actually always try to open people's eyes with certain things and already. So it's crazy that we're here. And because I know that out of everybody that we put everything out there to come to the platform, you're the first person who's actually responding and to be here, and we appreciate that. And I think we're gonna have a great conversation. Now, for people who don't know who you are, can you tell them, give them a little background who you are?
Yeah, that's probably the hardest part of the interview. A lot of people, or some people, aren't very comfortable talking about themselves, so I'm going to keep that very brief. I moved here. I just celebrated my 30th year here in Georgia.
Wow, congrats.
I've spent all that time in Winston or Villa Rica.
Gotcha.
I've never been closer to Atlanta than Post Road.
Gotcha.
And moved from New York 30 years ago.
Wow.
With my then wife and children.
Okay.
To get away from a nut house, high taxes, crazy traffic,
Gotcha.
all that, and came down to this quiet, little serene oasis of beauty called Villa Rica.
Nice.
Immediately fell in love.
Beautiful.
And now that I see 30 years later, the oasis is, I don't want to say crumbling, but changing.
Got it.
I said, I'm done with running. This time I'm staying and I'm fighting for my city.
Gotcha.
And I'm not going to move. We're just going to keep the city the way most people want it.
Okay. That's good. So now what's Villa Rica mean to you?
Villa Rica is not only home, but I guess, based on what I just said, it represents a little victory, an escape, if you will. Again, if you keep in mind why I left, I'm originally from Long Island, by the way, why I left New York and then found sanctuary.
Okay.
So it's very special to me.
Okay.
It was chosen as a place. I have 3 daughters. It was chosen as a place where you could raise a family and low crime and quiet and a lot of green space. So it's very dear to my heart. I know people that are born and raised here 3 generations. And I think, oh my goodness, what do these folks think about what's happening when I'm here 30 years and I'm worried about some of the change that's taking place or the way that it's taking place. Okay. So it means a lot to me. It is absolutely home. I feel as much or more home here than I did from where I was born and raised.
Gotcha.
And now we got to do what we got to do to keep it that healthy, happy, safe place that you want to come home to.
Yeah. So I know you retired, right?
I am.
So from the time you've been retired, and how long that you've been prepared and to run for the position that you're running right now?
So the answer to that would be probably almost 2 years.
Okay.
And I'd like to say I've been patiently waiting for 2 years. But the truth is, I've probably been chomping at the bit more, would be probably more accurate, for 2 years, waiting for this election to come up because of the things that I saw while volunteering. And I just said, this volunteering's wonderful. It's what I did after retirement. But those are recommending bodies, and from what I see, I've got to get in a position where I can represent people, vote the will of the people, and make sure the people are heard. The people have to know what's going on so they can make informed, intelligent decisions. Then they need a representative that listens to them and will vote the will of the people. Once they're informed and they make this intelligent decision, they need somebody that's then going to work with them and listen to them. Otherwise, I mean, if we're not together, you get nowhere.
Gotcha. Okay, that's super interesting. So now, for the little bit of time that you've been in Villa Rica, so you have a purpose and a reason that you running for council. And now, can you tell me anything that you see that's going on that you feel like if you're in positions, you'll be able to say something about it, or you'll be probably rejected, and you think that's hurting the community?
There's definitely things. I hope I'm answering your question correctly. So there's things that I've seen that I don't mention any. I never mention any names, and I give hypothetical.
Correct.
Not stories that are unrelated, that are hypothetical but accurate. And from my time as a volunteer, I noticed very early on, and I'll just say this, I'm always try to be very careful not to be accusatory. But in my opinion, I saw things that I would describe as not all the rules were being applied to all the applicants in an even manner.
Got it.
So you might see 2 applicants come before a commission, both with, if not identical, very similar situations. One approval, one denial.
Got it.
And you sit there and wonder as a commissioner, well, what's the difference?
Yeah, what's going on with that part?
And I did have one example. I'll just mention this one example because I think this kind of encapsulates. When I was on the Historic Preservation Commission, 2 applicants came before, same situation. One was approved, one was denied. The only difference is that the one that was approved was a sitting commissioner on the Historic Preservation Commission. So that, I'm not accusing, but that raises some eyebrows.
Gotcha.
And so I actually, while a commissioner on that board, I personally filed a formal complaint with the city of Villa Rica because I did not like what I saw.
Wow.
And I gave it to my supervisor, and he gave it to the city attorney. And they came back to me and said, sorry, we cannot accept your complaint because you're a commissioner. And I said, well, the very first question, as a matter of fact, the only question I asked before I volunteered was, do I lose any of my rights as a citizen by joining? And they said, no, of course not. You're a citizen. So I said, so I don't understand why my complaint's being rejected. But if me being a commissioner is a problem, that's an easy fix. Here's my resignation.
Wow.
And I wrote a letter of resignation. I said, I'm no longer a commissioner. Now I refile my formal complaint. So the next day, they came back and said, I was told by my supervisor that the city attorney had said, it doesn't matter when you filed it, you were a commissioner. So it doesn't count. So I said, okay, well, you already have my resignation. I filed I wanted it on public record. I don't know if win or lose is the right term, but once documents are filed with the city, they become public record.
Correct.
And subject to the Georgia Open Records Act. And then, therefore, you can do an open, I think it's called Open Records Act. And then you can do an open records request, and that can be made public so people can see it. I wanted people to know what was going on. That's the whole key. I wasn't looking to hurt somebody, or I had no dog in the fight, but something was being done that I thought was unfair.
Correct.
And the people need to know this.
Correct. And as they should.
So I immediately was labeled a quote-unquote troublemaker.
Wow.
And that started my reputation of being transparent with the people, but not too popular with City Hall.
Wow.
But you see something like that, come on, you got to do something.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'll tell you this: it take a lot for you to be a man, to be in a position where you're around a circle already, and to see something is wrong, and to willing to do what you do, and that took a lot. That took a lot, and of you for you to do that. But now my question: do this thing ever get public where anybody can see the whole record of what happened, or that's the first time you say that story, or if anybody knows about it?
I don't think so. As a matter of fact, I have this filing system at home, which is not a filing system at all. You know, when you save a Word document, you know, you name it.
Got it.
Well, most people would have filed that as historic preservation, formal complaint. I just file it by whatever name or word pops into my head. So I have to search all my documents. So a couple of weeks ago, I just decided to look for it, and I found it. I have, so to answer your question, I have a record of my formal complaint.
Wow.
But it was just given to my supervisor and handed back to me.
And you should bring that to me.
So it was not made a part of public record, which was my goal, was to get it on public record. So if you did an open records request, if you said, you know, let me just check if Doug's telling the truth, and you went back and I could tell you the year and so forth, or even give you a copy of it.
Yeah, I think if you give me a copy, I probably can add it on a podcast as we're talking. We can add it.
No, but I'm just saying, like if you went to do an open records request, they'd say, sorry, we have no record of it. And so it defeated the whole purpose. I wanted to get it out into the public square.
Got you.
And it didn't get out. And at the time, I was not on Facebook and so forth. So I just went home and told my wife the story I just told you. And like I said, I resigned and I walked away from volunteering for a while until I decided to give it another chance later on.
Okay. That's a hella good story right there, and that show a little bit of your character already. So now if you get elected, but I know you say that you only gonna do one term, right? So
that's correct.
So now, whatever job you will be started, what about if it's not finished?
That's a great question. And just for clarification, the one term is not what I think is probably best for the city. Term limits, absolutely.
Got it.
We've got people up there sitting there for 20 years, or I think close to 20 years. I can't even tell you what this pays or what the situation is because I'm absolutely not in. It's a stipend. It's not. You're not in it for the money.
I got you.
But I do believe after 20 years you get some sort of pension or something. So you have people sitting up there that are just trying to. They've been there 16, 17, 18 years, and they got a couple more years to go to get that pension. That's not what, in my opinion, makes somebody a good council member. What makes him a good council member is somebody, in my opinion, is somebody who has a calling, a heart to serve. Doesn't care what. I don't care what. I don't want to step on other council members' toes, but I don't care. If you were to call me, I'm not going to say, "Well, what ward are you from?" If you need help, you need help.
Yeah.
Now, to not step on people's toes, I would say, well, did you check with your council member? And if you said yes, but they're not getting back to me, then that's a different story.
Got it.
But anyway, I don't want to mislead people on the thing. I think that probably the best, what would be best for everybody, and again, it's just my opinion, obviously, would be a limit of two terms,
Correct.
2 4-year terms. So as people reach the pinnacle of their experience after 4 years, they don't have to get out, and now you have to start all over again. If people get there and have that kind of experience, you want to retain those people for a while. Of course, it's up to the people. It's elected officials.
Yeah, I was about to say that too.
But I would say 2 terms.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, I don't think it's up to you unless you really kind of say, this is, I want to just do that. But if you've done such a great jobs and the community is 100% behind you and you got more work to do, I think that's going to be up to the people to say, hey, man, you should definitely finalize what you started.
Yeah, I think I put one term to emphasize how strongly I feel about term limits.
Correct. Got you.
Right? It was more of a statement. Now, I stand by that.
No,
I really would just stay in one term because, you know why? Because I said I would.
Correct.
So it's that simple. However, I would also bring up on the agenda the issue of term limits and put it under the public hearing section so we get to hear from everybody.
There you go.
Right? Not just for public comment where you get to talk for 3 minutes and some people are listening, some people are texting, some people are, whatever. Public comment is more involved and more engaging, I'll say. And you want to hear from the people. And I would probably, for others and for the city, more be inclined to stand or represent or stand for a two-term limit.
Gotcha.
But for me, I think 1 year, 4 years, you can, if you know what you're doing,
should
you
get
can
a lot
make
done.
Coherent arguments, meaning make a good point of why you believe something. You might be able to convince somebody else of what you're saying. They may be able to convince you of what they're saying. And in a 4-year period, even though government can move at a snail's pace, I think you can get a lot accomplished under the right circumstances. But to answer your question, or a portion of your question, if in 4 years things were just rocking and rolling and the people just wanted me there and there was interest, it would be hard to abandon.
Yep.
Right? I'd almost look at like I was abandoning them. But if it was not that, if it was short of abandoning it, everybody was fine, I'd just say, okay, thank you for the opportunity. I hope I was of some help. At very least, I hope I didn't do any damage. And God bless you all. And if you need me, I don't have to be in office to help people.
To still serve it. Yeah. And I'm going to get to something in a little bit too. You told me a story. I want you to share a little bit of it while we're in air. But there's a question I have to ask you that. I know that I post online that I was doing a roundtable, and out of everybody that's running, and you wanted the person who come out and to be an assistant to see what was going on, supervise and everything. Now, if you was around, so you see what the people were talking about. This is one problem that's going on. It's communications.
Yeah.
And can you telling us, if you get elected, how would you keep the transparency and the communication with the public? So those mistakes those people was making, you can avoid not to make it.
Yeah, it's one of the things that did not surprise me. How many people brought up the lack of communication or felt that they weren't being listened to. That was an overriding sentiment by many of your guests, if not all your guests. Some spoke about it more, but I think everybody kind of at least hit on it. That was very telling to me. Now, because I attend a lot of meetings and I myself have a councilman that I have not been able to get a hold of over the years,
Wow.
I get it. But it seems to me that just think of any relationship. I don't care if it's husband and wife, somebody between them and their attorney, any relationship. If you cannot trust them, if you cannot communicate with them, what kind of relationship is
There's
that?
no relationship.
Where is the relationship?
There's no
right?
relationship.
And so I don't know if those are good examples or not.
I think it was good. It is
certainly,
good.
Obviously, you know what I'm talking about. So in today's day and age, when I say today's day and age, with all the means of communication that are available, whether it be social media, good old-fashioned phone, email, texting, tapping me on, hey, Doug, because I walk around, not the whole ward, but I walk around in my area of the ward. Hey, Doug, you got a minute? Yeah, what's going on? Everything except tying a note to a carrier pigeon. There's so many ways to be heard. And so what I was thinking, and the way I'm new to Facebook, I have a personal profile, which I've now switched to professional profile to be within Facebook guidelines. And then I think if I read it correctly, you would start a page, and from page you can then do polls. So every time a little thing comes up, like the city wants to buy a Ford F-150. You're not going to go, at least I wouldn't. I'm not going to go out to 4,000 people and say, what do you think?
Yeah, I got you.
I prefer a Chevy, or I think we should get an F-250. Or, come on. You got to let the city, you got to let people you elect make some decisions.
Correct. No, 100%. I don't think people worry about a lot of things like that.
Exactly.
There's one thing that I definitely gonna want to talk about. I think that's gonna be one of the big thing, and I'm sure a lot of people, they kind of like really pissed off about it. Now, on the same topic, before we move forward, because since we was there, you can see the frustration in the people's voice, the way they were speaking. Now, do you consider yourself as a citizen a victim just like them before? Like you feel like your voice not being heard and stuff like that?
Okay, sorry. I know each of my answers is like layered. There's like two sides to my answers. But in one sense, of course, because I'm unheard, but because of my personality, my nature, when a wall is put up in front of me, that's just something to go around or climb. I'm not going to have a wall there and go, oh, well, I can't do anything. There's a wall there. So I don't allow myself to feel as a victim. I just keep going. I'll just keep calling. I'll just call over their heads. I'll ask for a supervisor.
Until you get an answer.
I'm going to get my answer. I'm going to get it. I may not get it from my councilman. I may get it from somebody at a different level, from outside the city, from somebody in City Hall that's not even in that position but knows the answer. But I'm going to get an answer. So I don't feel so much as a victim, and I just see it as a challenge, if you want to call it.
Correct. Yeah, that's like me. I love challenge. It's like, and every time I see something get too easy for me, I feel like it's no good. I like the challenge where I have to go two different route. I can get to it, and then it felt good after. I'm like, damn, I did it.
Absolutely. The best way is, the best motivator is to say, oh, you'll never get that done.
Correct.
Oh, really?
Watch me.
Now you're challenging me, right? Okay, now it's on.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think it's from what you say, it's definitely clearly important, and it's so many ways that people can reach out to you. And there's so many ways that if you're in position, if people want to make their voice heard, that they could make it happen. But the most important thing is it's gonna be all those candidates they're willing to listen and pay attention to when they speak. So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna right back. We're gonna come back. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. I see that. I saw that you make a post online, and you say something about, and you think they should host an event every 2 times a year, and I'm trying to see where this motivation come from. What make you think that they should do that?
So you're quite the investigator, huh? Are you on my page looking at my posts?
I gotta see what's going on.
Oh, so you're the person that's been on my page. I believe you're referring to, I don't know if it was a post dedicated to this or if this was on a list of 5 or 10 things. Mm-hmm. But I think you're referring to is where I was talking about one of the first things I would do. There's probably maybe something like where the first 5 things I do is like bring up I would have put on the agenda term limits, this, that, and the other.
Correct.
And one of them was that the city charter be changed to mandate that the city council, the city leadership be required to hold 2 town halls per year.
Per year, okay.
Now, I will say that I think it's sad that that's something that needs to be mandated. Mm-hmm. I would think that would be a normal process.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Some might argue 4, some might argue 1. Two's the number that's in
At least you got 2 where
every 6 months you got to spend 2 nights listening to all the things that we have to say.
That would be beautiful.
But the big part about, and you know this because you just had the round table, is the give and take. It's not just that somebody's there venting, what they call venting, or some people call, it's complain night. We got to go listen to everybody complain. No. They're sharing.
Correct.
They're opening up to you.
Yeah, having a conversation and listening.
They want to have a conversation. But the beauty of the town hall is at the meetings, they actually make an announcement every month at the city council meetings that this is not for us to engage. This is your time to speak, but we do not engage. We're not going to acknowledge or answer any questions. You just say what you got to say. You got 3 minutes to say it, but you get no feedback. The beauty of the town hall is this.
We communicate.
What happens.
We talk about it.
This is what happens. And then if somebody ignores it, the next person can get up and say, you never answered their question.
Correct.
So my question is the same.
Correct.
Could you please answer it this time? And maybe it gets a little fiery, and maybe that's healthy.
Correct.
Not disrespectful.
Not disrespectful. I was about to say.
Certainly not.
Yeah, correct.
Anything bordering illegal, meaning disruptive. But sometimes a little healthy debate is a good thing.
Is a good thing.
So I just think we should have at least twice a year, town halls, depending on how many people start to show up. You pick the venue. The city certainly has multiple venues to choose from. And because again, as you pointed out earlier, very importantly, that most, if not all your guests the other night pointed out the frustration they were having by not being able to communicate with their council members. Well, throw everybody in a room together twice a year and
have a conversation.
Almost say, hey, I'm not unlocking the doors until we get some answers.
Until we figure it out.
I'll be here till 2 a.m, but we got to get some answers.
Oh, that's it. That is funny. Now, what is the most things you think Villa Rica is facing right now? The most challenge?
The most challenge for Villa Rica. Is that right? Is that what you're asking?
The most challenge Villa Rica is facing right now.
I'm going to say, this may sound corny, but again, I'm going to go back to the relationship analogy. I think the biggest challenge is the internal fighting, the disruption of unity within the community. So again, being there 30 years, I don't ever remember seeing it like this before. Now, when something like that happens suddenly, seemingly suddenly, meaning suddenly is if I've been there 30 years and I've only seen it for the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, that to me that's kind of suddenly. I tend to look towards leadership. Now, I don't blame them for everything, but there's the old policy, I guess, in warfare of sorts, of conquer and divide. And so I find that we're being divided now by income, rich, poor. Black, white, neighborhood, which subdivision, you live this subdivision, that subdivision. You're on this side of the tracks, that side of the track. You're union, divided. Non-union. There's more ways to divide people than most people realize. And I don't know that, again, I'll never accuse, and certainly if I do it, it's not intentional, it's a slip of the tongue. So I don't know that it's intentional.
Got it.
But it does seem to be happening. And so why I'm answering your question of saying I think that's one of the biggest problems is I go back to the relationship. Again, husband and wife.
No communication.
Between me and my beagle. If we don't trust each other or we don't communicate or we, as a city, I'm past the beagle part, but if we as a community are not a community, we're just patches of different people, then how do we get anywhere? How do we move forward? And if the leadership is really leading leadership, then they should be doing everything they can to unite everybody. And I don't care what you're working on. You know, I've been in private corporate life all my life. I've been working full-time since I'm 14 years old, holding down 2 and sometimes 3 jobs at a time so my then wife could stay home with the kids. So I know about work. I know about running companies. I know about whatever. And everybody doesn't have to love each other at work, but I always demanded that people treat each other
with respect.
With respect, exactly right. Hear what they have to say, have a meeting and hear and listen, because that quiet guy that never talks, all of a sudden, for the first time he talks, he comes out with a solution, and you've never heard him speak before.
Facts.
And all of a sudden you go, oh my goodness, if we didn't have this meeting or coming together, we'd still be struggling.
I agree.
So I think the biggest thing is that the town, the city, we're just, I don't know how it happened. I don't know who's responsible. Maybe we're all responsible, but we're just not all on the same page anymore.
There's something we have to figure out when you know, you get in office, something that definitely got to get figured out.
That's right. And one of the places to figure that out is a town hall. I'm going to keep coming back to that because I think they're really important.
I think it's going to be a great thing. So now I got a deep question I'm going to go with, but I want to ask you this one first before I move on, because I think we're in the same topic, which is I want to try to don't jump to the other one and bring it back, because what do you think was necessary when I saw Miss Amy post online 12 questions, and I think out of everybody was running, you're the only person who's take the time to respond to this question. What do you think was necessary for you to respond to these questions?
First of all, you're correct. Miss Amy issued 12 or came up with 12 questions that she sent out equally to each candidate. Obviously, no one's required to do it, but you're asking what I was literally the
Correct.
only one to respond. And the answer to your question is I'm just wired that way. I'm not capable of not answering a question. I don't know how people ignore questions because I can't. It makes my skin crawl. I can't go to bed until I answer a question. If I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and I try not to look because if there's something there at 3 o'clock in the morning,
And you feel like the person
I'm
actually
going to stay up
speaking to you.
and answer before I go back to bed.
Got you.
So it's just the way I am.
Got it. Okay, so I know you was at the round table, and you see that it was one questions that people were speaking about, and one of the project that's going on, and a lot of people is kind of like they not happy with it, which is the data center.
Right.
So now my question to you is that something you agree on it? If you was in position, would you sign off on it? And, how do you feel about this project?
Okay, so I have to point out a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to talk about the data center and the Villa Rica Parkway because they're both similar in some ways in that they're very expensive, very controversial, take up a lot of land, almost to the point where maybe there should have been special elections to see how to actually let people vote on those things instead of leaving it up to the city council. Actually make it something that, like I say, a special election to hear from everybody. I personally, I want to make this very clear, I personally am dead set against both of those projects.
Okay.
However, being someone that's given my word to vote the will of the people, quote unquote, I would be tearfully, over that issue because I just think that they're both horrible for the city.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm saying how I feel. That the data center, they keep calling it the data center because I think it's one company. There's very little information about it, or at least that I'm aware of. But I think it's going to be about 10, 11, or 12 separate buildings. So the data center is data centers, but I guess it's one data center, but many buildings. Let me put it this way. It's on 428 acres. You don't need 428 acres for a building. So that's one thing. It's now zoned agricultural, and part of it is conservational, which you would think is untouchable. And the part that's zoned conservational, this is something that's never talked about, is on one of the largest aquifers in the nation, or certainly on the East Coast. This is an aquifer that's so large that it's in 11 states up and down the eastern seaboard. That's how big this is. And this aquifer produces 360 million gallons of water per day for domestic purposes.
Damn.
So not in Georgia, for the 11 states. I don't want to mislead or be unclear about that. But just think about what that is. So every state that's in, people need to be aware of it. Now, all of a sudden, this little town called Villa Rica has some stake in it of what they're going to do to affect our area that could impact our area and the surrounding areas. And so I'm for just leaving conservational land alone. Just leave it be. And that this should not have been the council. I think the most recent vote they had on it was to rezone it from agricultural and conservational to light industrial. Meaning it's not a factory, but it is certainly, it's industrial. Light industrial is what they call it. So I'm against that. Now, Villa Rica Parkway, beautiful beautiful, quiet neighborhood. People they love each other. They're all friends and family. It's just like going back into the 50s. They don't bother anybody. Nobody bothers them. They had a nice, quiet little thing going on. Now they ran the Mirror Lake. It's like a mini spaghetti junction that they're doing to this little town, this little community. They've run the Mirror Lake connector right up to their door. They've run, I think it's called Fortune Parkway, comes from Tanner Hospital right up to their door. Mm-hmm. And the final piece is to run this Villa Rica Parkway right smack through the middle of their neighborhood, taking homes with it, either through purchases or if people refuse to sell. There's talk of eminent domain, of kicking people out of, paying them some market value,
get them out of there,
and then get them out of there. Now, if you're 80 years old and your mortgage has been paid off for, your grandfather paid it off or your father paid it off, and your taxes were $800 or $900 a year, and your utilities for one elderly person, how much are they going to use? Where on earth are these people going to go if you put them out of this house, out of their house,
correct,
where they raised their families, they were raised, and so on and so forth? And so there's that. That's the biggest issue to me. Then you've got the expense, which I think is going to run into about $35 million in total. The Mirror Lake connector I saw the contract through an open records request, that was $7.5 million. And the Parkway part that's still remaining is estimated to be about $22 million. But you've got waterways and stuff in there. You got a creek in there. And so there's going to be overruns and delays and so forth. Mm-hmm. But even if there isn't, you're talking about what did I just say, 22 and 7, so a total of $30 million.
30-something million.
Now, this is also a city that buys a lot of their water from Douglas County and Carroll County, because we can't produce enough water on our own. Now, I don't know I'm not privy to these numbers, but I don't know what a water plant costs. I imagine they're crazy expensive.
Yeah, it's crazy expensive, yeah.
But it seems to me that $30 million would go an awful long way towards maybe being independent or building our own water and sewer plant. Or something else. I don't see how we, in good conscience, spend $30 million on this parkway to kick people out of their homes, destroy the neighborhood, and so forth.
Wow.
Now, I have to add one other thing. There's already 4 other routes currently operating in existence to get from Mirror Lake Boulevard to the mill or the downtown area. Mm-hmm. There's already 4 ways to do that, 4 routes to do that, one of which allows golf carts. So why would you build a 5th way to get from here to here when there's already 4 ways to do that?
There, yeah. What's the purpose of it?
That money. So I think this is an opportunity that nobody's talking about. The data center in the Parkway. I think the property for the data center sold for about $7 million. I'd rather see the city pay back the bond for the Parkway, kill the Parkway, pay back the bond so they can take away the TAD, tax allocation district, is what they created to pay back the money they borrowed. Pay it back, kill the Parkway. Take out a $15 million bond and let the city buy that 428 acres and make a conservational park out of it, like Clinton Preserve that's on Ephesus Church Road. That's 200 acres. That's going to be there, in theory, supposed to be there forever.
Yeah.
And now you put in walking trails. It's big enough for equestrian trails, campgrounds. You'd never have to do another green space in Villa Rica again. This would be so big and could hold all sorts, anything that you wanted to build going forward. Like that, they're talking about doing a veterans memorial. You could put that in there. You could dedicate 5 acres of the 420 acres to a veterans memorial. Anything anybody can think about could fit on that piece of property.
Wow.
So it's just an idea. Somebody tell me, Doug, you're an idiot. That can't be done. Okay,
I believe it's possible.
I get it.
I believe it's
But
possible.
is anybody talking about it? At least talk about it.
Correct. And I think we'll spend all this money doing all those things. I think those things you say is kind of like make a lot of sense. And those money could be using for those things. So now, I know we got to wrap up. Before we wrap up, I got to ask this question. What's make you different? What's make you feel like you the man for the job?
The man. Yeah, I like that. All right. So obviously, I cannot compare myself to others as what is in their head or their heart. I'll just say that I hope we're all in it for the same reason, which is a calling to serve, not as a way to not as a stepping stone to wind up at the Gold Dome. What do they call the Capitol there? And become a state senator someday or something like that. It's not because for any other reason. I can tell you that I have nothing, zero. There's nothing of commercial or financial gain for me whatsoever. Whatever stipend the city pays, I think it pays like $6,000 a year or something like that. I would be spending that on materials and on visiting sites, construction sites, and so for me it wouldn't even be that income. But I don't own a business downtown where somebody could say, oh, like if I was a CPA, for example, they say, oh, the guy who does my taxes is a councilman, or there's just nothing in it for me except the satisfaction of knowing that I'm there to serve. And I hope that my the other candidates and my opponents have that same feeling.
Okay.
But what I can say, I think with a fair amount of confidence, is that I would challenge any of them on managerial experience. The largest corporation I ever ran, or what was, I ran for DHL Airways. I ran the entire gateway operation at JFK Airport. 200 employees, ran 300, airlines don't close down, runs 365 days a year, 25 hours a day, and in charge of sales and accounting and import and export and cargo and the overnight express envelopes and everything. Even even a fleet of aircraft. I was responsible for overnight flights from back and forth from JFK to Brussels for the European hub, and another plane going to Cincinnati, 4 helicopters. I mean, I oversaw a huge operation. This is not a bragging moment. This is a moment where I say, I would say I feel like I'm actually qualified to be the city manager. I don't want to be the city manager, but it certainly would be nice to have somebody on the council that was capable of talking to the city manager, providing we get one, because I think we're on number 4 or 5 interim. It's been about a year and a half, and the mayor still hasn't hired a city manager. So I think we're on number 4. It's a separate story, but I think we're on number 4 or 5 interim managers. But I think my work experience is something that would bring a lot of help things a lot more handled a lot more expeditiously, because there's somebody with business experience. Because the way it works is right. I mean, all you have to do, anybody can run for president. Why do you have to be 35 years old, American citizen, whatever the requirement is? To run for city council, you've got to be, I don't know, if it's 21 years old, you've got to live in Villa Rica and pay $270 qualifying fee. Maybe you just got out of jail for being an axe murderer, but that they don't do any background checks. There's nothing. You just have to show you live there, pay you $270, and now you can go and say whatever you want.
You make a decision. You make a decision.
You make a decision for 20,000 people, and they don't do any kind of background checks. Anyway, I think there's some people there. There's people that are elected because they're very popular in their subdivision.
Correct.
There's people that have won those seats with 35 votes. have
Wow.
become a councilman because they got 35 votes. So maybe they're friends at church, or maybe they got a big family if they're multi-generation there.
Correct.
Or maybe it's they're president of an HOA. And so all the people like them or want to be close to them because they don't want to be harassed over weeds in their bed, something like that. I don't know what it is, but when you've got a situation where just a handful of your friends can get you in office, that's maybe not the best way to pick the council members. You're only going to get as good a city as you have managers and planners and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
So
man,
that's the story.
hey man, that was a hella good conversation. Now, if you had a message you would have sent out there for those voters, what would be the message?
Homework. Do your homework. Bombard me with questions. Bombard my competitors with questions.
Mm-hmm.
Why does, if I may,
Go ahead.
so I'm here on an interview, say. You're the boss, and I'm looking for a job. And you ask me, why should I hire you? Don't answer you.
No
You ask me,
respect.
what's your background? Do you have a resume? Nothing. I'm silent. What's the chances of me getting that job?
Oh, 100% you won't get that job.
Would I get through the interview?
Nah.
No.
Yo, you fell automatic. Correct.
Get out. It'd be
Correct.
all you could do from grabbing me by the collar and throwing me out the door, right? So why on earth do candidates who, that's when they most want to be impressive, to get in, and they're not answering questions? That's a red flag.
Got it.
In my opinion, my humble opinion, if you're asking questions and they're not giving you answers, so do your homework. Do background checks. You don't have to be a cop or an FBI agent. Anybody can do a background check on anybody. Do a criminal background check. See how they vote. If they've been in office, see how they voted on other things. And just take the top 5 issues that you care about and send them an email or call them and say, I need to know where you stand on these 5 issues. And see if, number 1, see if they answer it at them. And 2, if you agree with their answers. I'm putting out these 12 questions that Miss Amy asked. I'm the only one that's doing it. I may lose more votes than I'm going to get. Because the reason why most of them are quiet is because if they're quiet, they can't offend anybody. That's not a way. That's not fair to the people. I'm willing to put my answers out there knowing that I might actually lose more votes than I'm going to get. But if that's what happens, that's what happens. I would rather be honest and lose
Integrity.
than win by being silent or dishonest. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I hope I am. If not, maybe you can catch that in edit for me.
You say it right. So that was a great conversation. I wish you the best with your campaign.
Thank you.
And I think I ain't gonna lie, I'll be honest with you. I wish we could have more time to do this again. The reason I'm saying I feel like there's a lot more we could have just you know what I'm saying? It's a lot more we can get it to. But we could probably pay into trying to see if we can set up another talk. So now I know we're about to wrap up. This is gonna be the last one before we close everything. You got the flow. You can send a message to everybody. You can look at that camera and say to everybody whatever message you want to say.
Okay. Well, this is the hardest part for me is talking about myself, but answering questions is completely different. I am delighted to all my friends and neighbors, family in Villa Rica. Hello. I hope you've joined us. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've gleaned some information from this that you maybe had not had before. Maybe we addressed some questions that you hadn't even thought of before. But most importantly, I thank you for the opportunity.
Of course.
And giving me this, the floor, this opportunity to address I call them neighbors. I don't call. By the way, you're not my constituents if I win. You're my neighbors. You're my neighbors now. You'd be my neighbors then. So if I confuse people by saying neighbors, that means constituents to me. So please do your homework. It's your city. Don't sit on the couch. Please get out and vote. Whomever it's for, get out and vote. Make your voice be heard. Let them know you're paying attention. Let them know you're watching. And it's your town. It's your town.
There you go. You have it. Mr. Doug was in the building. We will see you on the next one.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. That was good.